right, welcome back to Allegedly Unbiased, an NBA fan podcast brought to you by UCFM. This week, hopefully we've retained some listeners back from our last week. Hopefully we didn't lose everyone in the first 10 minutes of us talking. This week we've got a pretty jam-packed schedule. We're going to move out to a 45-minute segment just because we felt like we were kind of a bit rushed on the last one. We kind of rushed through some stuff much quicker than we would have liked. So what we've got to start off is, this is a segment we're going to try and do every week just to do something a little bit differently, is doing a player of the week. So this could be a star player, could be a role player, could be anyone we feel like. It's just a player that we think has just been absolutely tearing it up as of late. So I'll start off and I'll go with none other than the Australian Prince, Josh Giddey, who over his last 10 games is averaging 20 points, 9.5 rebounds and 8 assists. And not only that, but has been shooting 53% from three on 4.5 attempts a game. What do we think of that, Bill?
I don't think he's missed one from the corner.
Pretty much. Like, he just looks... I've managed to snag a couple of Chicago games over this last week, and he just looks... The ball's in his hands. They've surrounded him with relative shooters for Chicago, but he's driving, he's attacking, he's shooting, he's somewhat okay on the defensive end. This is what Josh Giddey is meant to be. Since
Io went down, he's just kind of bold.
Yeah.
It's about time.
It's about time. We've been waiting for this for a long time, and especially with Levine out there, goes however many shots a game, 20 shots a game. So they've just said, here,
have the ball.
Giddey, take us to the promised land.
I mean, we saw what he did in his second year where he was averaging, 18, 8 and something.
Exactly right, especially that couple of game stretch where Shea went out.
Yeah.
And it was like, whoa, this is a completely different guy. He's comfortable with the ball.
That's what happens when you give a ball-dominant player the ball.
Exactly right.
Just give him the ball already.
So props to Josh Giddey, absolutely tearing it up. And hopefully this extends out over for the rest of the season, obviously into their play and exit.
And then he'll get paid.
And then you'll get a nice juicy bag from Chicago. And yours, Bill, what's your player of the week?
See, I was hesitant to pick him because Philly have been horrible to watch.
Yep.
Like, it's just been terrible. But Quentin Grimes, 25, 5 and 5 on 50-40 splits over the last 6 games. Like, where has this come from? I've watched him since the Knicks, and this is not the player I was watching. So I don't know where this has come from. It's a pleasant surprise, but it's good to see. I like it. What do you think?
I think much the same. Obviously, as a Philly fan, it's nice to have a bright spot. We took all our bright spots seems to get taken away this season, so maybe this is a bit of basketball gods reparation for the absolutely everything else that's happened. But he's been good defensively. He's killing it. He's what, 6'5", 6'4", something like that. But
I don't even think he's that.
Yeah, but he plays up. Like, I've seen a number of the closing lineups Philly has ran, and they've been putting him at the 3, at the 4, and he plays fine at those sizes. Like, he's quick, he's got good hands, he's agile, he makes the right plays, he passes, he shoots, he's great in transition. Just a guy that I'm really happy to get locked up under a nice little deal for the next 3-4 years and to move forward. Yeah, you'd hope so.
Where's your money coming from? Pretty much, you got Maxey, Embiid, and PG locked up.
Yeah, exactly right.
Where's your money?
Hopefully he likes it here. Hopefully he likes his team and Nick Nurse, and like with a 3-guard rotation of Quinton, Maxey, and McCain moving forward. I like that a lot. Defensively, it leaves a little bit to be desired.
Or he just goes to Charlotte, gets $30 million a year,
exactly.
and
throw an absolute bag at him.
No one hears about him.
Exactly right. All right, so now that we've done our player of the week, that'll be something we'll try to do. We might even do a game of the week or something if we think it's something we've really enjoyed, or maybe a team of the week, anything like that. I'm probably going to take a shot in the dark and say Philly's not going to appear on the team of the week. We'll move into our news segment now. So first big bit of news is LeBron's injury sustained, I believe, in the second quarter of the Boston game, which is seems to be a re-aggravation of that groin injury.
But it's different.
Oh, he said it was different.
He said with the old one, he heard a pop. He didn't hear a pop for this one.
Okay.
So that's why it's only 1 to 2 weeks, not the big months that they were thinking about when it first happened. So.
Exactly. So... Look, he's 40 years old.
It might benefit them.
It might benefit them. They get to play, get Lucas some more reps, get him back into shape. And look, at the end of the day, you'd rather him miss 2 weeks now than 2 weeks in
the playoffs
in April. Yeah. So it's going to happen. He's 40 years old. He's only missed like 6 games this season or something like that. Like it's it's going to happen. The one stat I did have a look at is because of all the postponements that happened from the Los Angeles Fires, starting with a game in Milwaukee on Thursday, our Friday, but USA's Thursday, they play 3 straight back-to-back games, so 6 games in 9 days. So there's
some nasty teams in that, isn't there?
Yeah, so Milwaukee, Denver, Phoenix, San Antonio, Denver, and Milwaukee again. I would not be surprised if they go
3-3.
3-3 out of that. They're probably going to beat San Antonio.
Not even 3-3 with LeBron out.
Exactly. Well, I don't know. Phoenix is pretty god awful, but they can catch fire on a night, and you're now missing a guy.
Yeah.
You're missing your 40% of your creation gone.
So I think they'll beat the Bucks.
Mm-hmm.
Denver, I can't even see him getting one now that LeBron's out, because LeBron is he was the anchor on the defensive side of things. Phoenix, yeah, KD can get hot, Booker can get hot, Beal off the bench. Like, they put Ball in the starting lineup.
He's working,
and he looks good. So, yeah, 3-3 sounds hopeful, but
yeah, and especially with the West, I've got the standings here. So LA is third, 40 wins, 23 losses.
I could push them down to 5th.
It could literally push them down to 5th.
Yeah.
Just below the Rockets and above the Warriors. And if the Warriors continue their hot streak, they could jump them like this with how stacked the West is.
Yeah, Grizzlies on 3, Rockets on 3.
Yeah.
Golden State on 3.
Like, this could be a stretch that literally puts them back down into flirting with the play-in.
Yeah, it's scary.
It's very scary. And, of course, we've got the Rui being out both today and yesterday, and Jackson Hayes. I'm a big Jackson Hayes supporter.
And they still need to decide what to do with players, because at this stage, Jamison and who's their other two-way player?
Jordan Goodwin. Yep.
They cannot play in the playoffs.
Oh, because they haven't converted them to a
so they
standard
need
contract.
to cut someone. And at this stage, it's either going to be Reddick or it could be
Reddish.
Not
the coach.
They're going to cut the coach. Get him off. Yeah, it'll be Reddish or maybe even Alex Len, who they just got.
And probably not. Oh, Markieff Morris is still there. So it's probably going to be Morris and one of the others, I think, because Trey Jameson's been really good.
Yeah.
And so has...
Lock him up for 4 years.
Exactly. And Jordan Goodwin, like, he's definitely...
Out of nowhere.
Like, I remember watching him when he started his career on Phoenix and being like, this dude is not good. Like, but he's just come in. He's defensively a menace. He hits open shots.
Hits threes,
he gives me the vibe. He's the perfect LeBron point guard.
Yep.
Right? Hits open shots, plays defense, can run the ball a little bit. Like, he's perfect. So if they can lock him up for a nice cute little contract, that'd be really good. So yeah, dire times for the Lakers, and obviously with Luka potentially having a bit of a back injury, it could be interesting. The other big injury news is Kyrie Irving injured out for the season with a torn ACL.
I think we just need to touch wood.
Yeah, exactly right.
Anytime you talk about Dallas, it's just injuries. Like,
literally. And it's... I don't know what it is. They just can't. It's the reparations from the basketball gods. We'll put it like that. Obviously, I don't think personally AD's coming back from the season.
No,
they're just gonna. What's the point? You're scrapping. You're in the 10 seed now. You're 3 games ahead of Phoenix. Like, yeah, you'd have a bit of fun. Get some of those young guys some reps. Like, whatever. Like, it's just a terror of a season, I guess.
Yeah, it's a nightmare situation to be in. I wouldn't be
Nigga Harris.
gunning for the GM role of them.
No, I would not be. So what I've got here is, as we kind of look at Dallas, and now they've basically written off this season completely, I was curious to see kind of what their future looks like. So I've actually got them here, which is very surprising. They've got both their own... They've got a first and a second this year. They've got a first in 2026, a first-round pick in 2028, a first in 2029, which was the Lakers pick that they got, a first in 2029 as well. So they've got 2 first-round picks in 2029, a first in 2030 and a first in 2031. So that's, obviously that's 7 first-round picks over the next 6 years.
But 6 of them are their own.
Exactly right. There's a couple here that have got like Houston will receive the 2 most favourable, but these are all probably looking, with the way Dallas is playing, they're looking like lottery picks. So, yeah, do you trust that you can hit 6 out of 7 or you can hit 4 out of 7 and get some genuine NBA guys? It also depends on what the draft looks like, and do you need a big, do you need a this, do you need a that?
His health, and yeah, it doesn't look good.
It doesn't look good. I guess it's not as bad as it could be. They do have all these picks. They could do some trading up, trading down, but it's an interesting future, I guess, to look at.
I mean, any way you look at it, that trade, that Luka trade, is going to go down as possibly the worst trade in NBA history.
I think it will do.
Like that Lakers pick, at this stage, it's going to be what? Late.
It'll be, between 20 to 30.
Because
it won't be in the lottery.
Luka's going to stay. Luka will be in LA in 4 years' time.
100%.
And they're not going to be at the bottom.
Exactly right. And I guess the interesting thing is that a lot of the way to rationalise this trade was, okay, we've given up Luka, but we're good this season, right? We're good for the next 2 seasons. We've got Kyrie, we've got AD coming off what was actually an MVP type season, at least to start the season.
Yep.
You've got PJ Washington, you've got Clay on this nice little team-friendly deal. You've got all these pieces, and now you've just lost all your centres. You've lost Kyrie. Like, they just seems like every one of the Mavs, you watch them fall over and you go, oh, please don't be injured. Like, it's
an ACL.
Exactly
It's
right.
his knee.
So it's this thing of they were supposed to be good this season as the only, like, they've maximised their championship window with this big physical defensive team and maybe just getting by on enough offense from Kyrie and AD, and now
it's
completely fallen apart.
Yeah. I don't see a future.
Not at all. So for our main part of today's segment, I guess as we start to get into the pointy end of the season, we're now, 6 weeks out from the playoffs. We're going to look at some questions surrounding every top team and how we kind of think they will look as they go into playoff contention. I did initially have the top 6, so every team that's obviously out of the play-in, but the West is way too stacked. So I put the top in for the West because just of how, there's 11 games separating the 2nd seed and the 10th seed. And there's 12 separating 11 and 2.
Yeah.
If you look at the West, 47 wins for the Boston Celtics, and it's down to 27 for the Chicago Bulls. So it's very, it's obviously such a stacked thing. We're just talking about how LA can drop and will drop if they have a bad week, if you have a bad stretch. So we'll start off with the aforementioned stacked West. First off the bat is what we think about Denver going into playoffs.
Where are they going to get the defensive side of things from? That's the only issue. When you have Jokic, you are going to be able to score 120 points a game. But are you going to be able to stop a team from scoring 130?
Exactly right.
That's the point.
And we've seen, I guess, Aaron Gordon coming back from injury has been a bit of a thing. He was actually in consideration for player of the week. He's been pretty good. But it's just... And we got a pretty vintage Jamal and Jokic game today against the Thunder.
Yeah.
Obviously, they returned the favour in the blowout battle between the two MVP candidates. But it's just, you rely on a Nikola Jokic team, right? Because we just know how absolutely amazing he is. He's in the... he's just... What he does on the court, his on-off numbers have always been insane.
He's just historical.
It's historical, yeah.
You can't really put it into words. It's just historical.
But yeah, it's just the defense. And I think Jokic this year's defense has been actually taken a bit of a step off because he's shouldering so much offensive load.
Yeah. With Jamal's just taken a little bit off, Jokic had to do more on that side.
Yep.
And now he's just... Yeah, they're not the same team they were 3 years ago?
3 years ago, yeah. So I've just got their roster here. I just want to quickly go through, out of the guys that actually play, who do we consider a plus defender? So Christian Brown, he's a good defender. Yeah, Michael Porter Jr.
At this stage, I'd say he's probably positive when he's locked in. But
yeah, he's obviously got the problems
just not
with
locked in.
The commitment. Yeah, Julian Strother.
Not really.
Russell Westbrook. Yeah, he's going to give you a hustle.
Yes, until the last 2 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
And then he'll do something stupid.
DeAndre Jordan, God no, put him in drop
Do
coverage every single day. Peyton Watson is an elite defender.
If he played 35 minutes a game, he's
all defensive. He's really good. And he actually went 4 from 4 from 3 today, which is, if I'm Denver, I'm Michael Malone, I'm rubbing my hands. I'm keen as anything. Darius Saric won't play. Jokic, obviously, we just joked about. Zeke Naji, he probably won't play in a playoff rotation.
Yeah, but he's pretty good. He's just short.
Yeah.
Like, what is he, 6'9"? It's like, are
He's
you
playing
really
up to a
going to
centre, yeah.
defend the centre?
Jamal Murray is a negative, I'd say.
Really?
I just think because of that loss of athleticism, he's just lost that little bit of burst, I think. I just think he can't lock in for 30 minutes a game and give you a really solid defence.
I would still say he's probably 0. I wouldn't say he's positive or negative.
That's fair.
Like, he'll stay in front of a player, but you just don't really expect much off the ball.
And then Aaron Gordon obviously is the lead.
Positive.
So.
He's the defensive guy for that team.
And I guess the problem is, out of that, what we just listed off there, you've got, 3 or 4 really positive guys? Yeah. Like, I just don't think it's enough in the long run when you look at some of these other teams. You look at, obviously, Oklahoma City's defense, the Lakers' defense, Grizzlies, Rockets, Warriors, Minnesota, even LA. These are teams that are like top 15 in defense. I just don't. They're just not going to be able to get the stops. And can you rely on a Nikola Jokic-led offense to just keep, like, to just keep pace? And you can't do, and they don't shoot many threes. So you're not only are you behind defensively, but you're also behind on the math problem because you're starting off worse from 3 than any other team. They just
don't shoot threes, but they shoot like 38%. So
it's
shoot
decent.
Threes.
Exactly right. They just don't get them.
Shoot threes.
So next team is Oklahoma City Thunder.
At this stage, it's kind of like health is one.
Mm-hmm.
And what's the second ball handler? Like, do you trust Jalen Williams to get you through 4 playoff rounds?
Yeah, exactly. And I guess that when it comes down to it, it's a close game in the fourth quarter. Shea rests for those first 4 or 5 minutes of the fourth quarter in a game 6 on the road. Like, do you trust Jalen Williams just to stay afloat? Just let's stabilize, get through until we can get Shea back and he can drop his 8th straight or whatever like that. Like, is Jalen Williams that guy? I'm a massive Jalen Williams fan, but I just don't know if he's there yet.
And who's number 3? Is it Chet?
Chet, like,
who's missed a lot of this year,
exactly
or
right.
is it?
I don't know, like
Aaron Wiggins, who's just turned into the next
the savior of basketball,
next Steph Curry.
So it's that tertiary credit. It's also, to me, the health. And I guess what really one of the big ones to me is they've got this absolutely league-leading offense. Defense. Sorry, the defense is just absolutely insane.
Yep.
1 through 8. Like, they're not the only person I'd say who's not even the worst defender would be Isaiah Joe, and even he's like above average. Like, they're just insane defensively. The only problem I would see is when the playoffs slow down, gets into the half-court offense, are they going to be able to generate those gaudy turnover numbers to get out and transition? Because when it slows down and you're seeing this drop, I don't know, if you play 100 possessions in the regular season, it's dropping down like 80, 70. So can you still get these easy transition buckets with all these insane, amazing athletes that you have? So yeah, that's probably the biggest thing would be the health and
then who's the
creation outside of Shea.
And as the rosters get shorter, who are their top 8? Like,
probably say Wiggins.
Like, it'll be Shea. They'll start with Shea, Williams, Chet,
Dort, I guess, and Hartenstein,
Caruso, Wiggins, the other J-Dub.
And then, like, does Isaiah Joe make the playoff roster? He was great last year, but is he the odd man? Like, yeah, there's a bit of, I mean, there's worse problems to have.
Who am I going to play this game? Which great offensive play am I doing this time?
Which role player is going to give me 4 threes and great defense? LA, Lakers, not Clippers.
Health, and defensively, can it sustain? Like, it's been, 10, 15 games with historical defense. JJ Redick has just gone crazy.
He's just
somehow.
insane.
He's got LeBron locked in.
Yeah, like stupidly locked in.
They've got Luka caring about getting steals.
Yeah, or like blocks. Like, I saw him like strip someone from behind the other day. I was like, what the?
Where's this come from?
Where was this nigga Harrison? And of course, and then the defense against the bigs.
And who, once Jackson Hayes goes out, where are the other 6 fouls coming from?
Exactly right. And like Jackson Hayes, he's come up twice now on the podcast.
Because they're in the West. Like, there is a lot of good big men in the West.
Exactly. So Oklahoma's obviously got Chet and Isaiah. Like, I saw what Isaiah did to Joel, who's a top however many big man defender in the league, like
50.
50. This man, like Isaiah will get his.
Yeah.
On a guy like Jackson Hayes. Grizzlies have obviously got Jaren Jackson. You've got Jokic. You've got Sengun. You've got the actions that Draymond is going to pull. Naz Reid, yeah, literally Naz Reid. You see the actions that Draymond and Quinton Post are going to pull Jackson Hayes where he's comfortable out.
Even Zubac.
Even Zubac, who randomly turns into Kareem Abdul-Jabbar every 3 or 4 games.
And then even Sabonis, if you got all the way down to the 9 seed.
If they win a play-in game, like it's just not a good look. Like Ken Jackson Hayes, just
not foul.
Just not foul.
Just not foul. And if he does, where are the others?
Can Dorian Finney-Smith sustain like 20 minutes?
Are they going to put LeBron at the 5 again, they did a couple of years ago?
It worked. It worked back then. Next team is the Memphis Grizzlies.
Who's A and who's B?
There's a really interesting point that Bill brought up earlier. Is it Jaren Jackson's team come playoff time? Is it Ja Morant's team come playoff time?
Because you can tell in the clutch, it's definitely Ja.
Mm-hmm.
He'll take the shots. He's historically the best clutch player or something crazy like that. But Jaren Jackson just has played so much better than him this season.
Yeah, and Jaren's like looking at like potentially a second team All-NBA selection here.
I mean, he's second best odds for DPOY, and offensively he's been great, so he could sneak in for a first
literally
team.
If he makes that
First team, but I would definitely put him second team at this stage.
He's a 100% lock for second team. And I think just when it boils down, Memphis has got a great defense, and you've actually raised the point of, can Desmond Bane
be your best
third player? Or, again, what are we getting from Ja? If you play,
is he healthy?
Is he going to miss 3 games? Is he going to miss 2 games? Is he going to be there the entire time and give you 28 and 10? And then you're like, well, that happens, I guess.
Well, it's just Ja going crazy.
Exactly right. And like, is Ja going to be there? I think is the biggest. I think the defense is good. Their depth is great.
When healthy.
Health is obviously a problem with them, but it just comes down to Ja Morant to me.
Yeah. And is Jaren going to have the same issue as AD, where he refuses to play the 5?
That's very true, because they don't really have the bigs to put next to him in a playoff rotation. They're going to want to go small with him, stretch the floor fast.
It's not even just small. He's like 6'11".
Well, that's true. Yeah, 6'11", grabbing like 5 rebounds a game.
Exactly. That is the biggest issue, I reckon. Just the rebounding.
Rebounding could be a problem as well. The Rockets, Houston Rockets. I think my biggest thing is they're just young.
Young, and do I really trust Thompson and Sengun in the playoffs? And Green.
Green and Van Vliet and any of those
I trust Freddie the most because he's actually won a ring.
Yeah, and was good in that series when he had a ring.
He just has to have another kid.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Obviously, when he had that in the Toronto series and came back and was
shot like 60% from 3.
Better Steph Curry than Steph Curry.
Yeah.
Also, another thing with the Houston Rockets is their offense stinks. Like, it just is bad. Like, defensively, they're amazing. You've got the Terror Twins.
You can probably pull it up.
Oh, yeah, where's their offensive rating in the NBA?
Just whenever you think... Like, Sengun can't guard anything.
Mm-mm.
Like, you watch him against anyone who's even slightly below average, and he is stinky.
Mm-hmm.
It is horrible to watch.
So in offensive rating, they are 14 with 114.1.
That's offensive ranking. Yeah.
Which actually surprises me it's that high.
That's just Jalen Green and Sengun.
I think so. And it's also like this idea that when it slows down, are they just going to be able to get quality shots out of someone like Jalen Green?
Yeah.
Like,
and what's the depth? Like, do they trust...
They trust Cam Whitmore. Like, I like him, but is he going to be a guy you...
No, he's gonna join Quentin Grimes in Charlotte on a $30 million deal.
Because, like, if you look at, I guess you have Freddie, Jalen Green,
Thompson,
Sengun, and Jabari Smith. And then you probably got Brooks,
Tari Eason,
either at Steven Adams or Jock Landale, I guess.
Yeah, as you probably go Jock at this stage.
But like, it's just it's who you cut. Like, they've got.
But it does shrink.
Yeah, it does shrink very quickly. Moving on from the Rockets, the Warriors, which we spoke about last podcast, and we're loving what the Warriors are doing.
Yeah, they just seem to fit, don't they?
They're 9-1 in their last 10.
4-game win streak.
4-game win streak.
They just look good.
They just look good. I think they've
Yin
got...
and yang.
It's literally, they've got ball handlers now, like a bit of secondary ball creation with Jimmy. It's can Jimmy, for time in, time out, just lock back into that playoff stage.
Yeah.
Because I think if he can, what do you think is the biggest question mark for them?
Secondary ball handler.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Draymond is getting old. Do you really trust him to handle the ball, apart from Curry, when it comes to the playoffs?
Mm-hmm.
Like, Jimmy's going to have it, but they've looked so good when Jimmy's
Cutting and creating
moving,
havoc off ball and
locking in defensively. If you're asking Jimmy to be a ball handler and be the defensive god that he is for 35 minutes a game for 4 rounds, he's going to get tired.
He's going to get very tired. And then you also mentioned the Ken Kuminga and Podziemski hit shots.
Yeah.
That's literally it. Like, Moody's been really good. But I think...
Yeah, since Jimmy's come, Moody has looked like the player I always wanted
to. Yeah, he's been waiting for him to tap into this. So, yeah, Golden State's an easy one.
But you look at that conference is 20-19.
Yeah, so they're not great against...
the West.
Well, they're 2-10 in their division.
Yeah.
Which might be bad stats from the start of the season, more than anything.
I'd probably say so, yeah.
Minnesota, which is a bit of a wild card. They've been good recently. They have been, 6-4 in their last 10, 5-game win streak.
Yeah.
So I think they're starting to maybe get the whole Julius Randle thing figured out. But it's just, you've got a Rudy Gobert anchored defense.
Can you throw, if you throw 5 players at Edwards, can he
make
pass
3.
you the ball, which is a no at this stage? Is he going to shoot 35 times a game?
Yes.
Is he going to even shoot get half of those in? I don't think so in a playoff game.
And Mike Conley's regressed. Rob Dillingham hasn't been the the ready to plug and play kind of player we looked at. Joe Ingles has declined even more than we thought.
Nas Reed.
He
looks good,
but
he's going to leave next year
and
join Charlotte.
The Charlotte super team for Bill Meade next year. Like, if you look at it, like, can Anthony Edwards and Nas Reed win you a playoff series, maybe a first round?
Because last year Minnesota looked great because Edwards just shot everything and made everything.
Exactly right.
But you also had Cat.
Yeah.
And now they don't have Cat.
And especially with the Mike Conley regression.
Is Nas Reed even 70% of what Cat is?
Especially, like, he's great, don't get me wrong, big Nas Reed people over here, but like, can he be that? Next team is the LA Clippers. This is a bit of a wild card that we put in because they're only 2 games, well, they're 3 games out of the play-in. Oh, no, they're not. They're, because of conference, and they're actually, the Warriors in the 6 seed are 36 and 28, and the Clippers in the 8 seed are 35 and 29. So they're technically only 1 game back, but because of interconference stuff and tiebreakers and all that sort of nonsense that goes on, they're technically in the play-in.
Yeah.
I think we just spoke about, it's just, can Kawhi stay healthy? And can Harden not completely and utterly fall off a cliff?
Come playoff times, yeah. You look at their stats; they are wonderful at home. 22 and 10. Like, that's up there with. That's up there with Denver. That's up there with Houston.
Oklahoma's 28 and 5, so it's not really that much difference. Yeah, they're Oklahoma. The Intuit Dome, Steve Ballmer, do your thing.
It's just on the road, but come playoff time, who's one of the biggest playoff pushes, and that is Kawhi.
Exactly right. So if you get a healthy Kawhi, we saw what he did in those 2 games before he went down to that Phoenix series, not last year, but the year before.
And then hit a buzzer beater last night.
Exactly right. Yeah. So he's definitely still there. It's just, can they get enough offense to play with any of these guys? Because if they win either of those games, they've got to play Oklahoma or Denver in the first round if the playoffs started today. They do not have the offense to hang with those guys at all. The defense is great. But the offense is just not there.
I would like to see a Clippers Denver. I would love to see that.
It's got a
Zubac on Jokic, and then you just go, Kawhi, go do your thing. Harden, go do your thing. Chris Dunn, can you guard
Jamal for however many minutes
they've
again?
They've got Batum, they've got Simmons, they've got Bogey.
They've got big wings, they've got shooting. That'd be a really fun series, actually. I'd like that a lot.
I think they're a wild card to go a lot further than people think.
They've definitely, and if you get James Harden in like enough of his production in the regular season, they'll get through. He dropped 50 the other night.
Yeah.
On like 22 free throws, but it doesn't matter.
And then he looked good that whole Sacramento Kings game.
Exactly right. He looked really good. Right decisions, everything like that.
He was good in the clutch. He
great in the clutch.
It was, 3 floaters over 4 players. They just gave it to Kawhi at the end.
Exactly right. It's definitely good. I think you're right. I think the Clippers will be able to make some noise.
I'll definitely put them over Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
At this stage, I'm probably looking at them over Houston.
Ooh.
I trust them more than Houston.
They've been there. Derek Jones.
Kawhi's been there.
Well, Harden's been in playoff series, whether he's performed in them. He knows how the game slows down, whether he can play to it or not. Kawhi's been there. Derek Jones has been there. Zubac has been in big games. Ben Simmons has been there. Ben Simmons has been there passing layups. Nico Batum, personally to me, one of the best veterans in the league. I love me some Nico Batum. Bogdanovic has been in the league. He's been doing this. Chris Dunn's been in some high leverage games. Like, this is a battle-tested team. They've got a great coach in Ty Lue. I think it's a team that could seriously make some noise. Or they could flame out in 5 games in the first round. I would not be surprised anywhere in between.
You just watch Kawhi do his ACL in the first game.
Yep.
And you go, oh.
And then Harden, 10 turnovers, 4 for 13 or something like that. If we're looking at in the East now, so we'll do the top 6 in the East, which is perfect on time. So the Cavs, first off, number 1 seed in the East at 54-10.
The historical defense.
Historical
offense.
Both at the moment. They're actually leading the league in
crazy.
offense at the moment, 2 points over the Boston Celtics.
Like, you look at a team that is built around Mobley and Allen defensively, and you go, yeah, I can see it. Where's the offense? And it's just Mobley's taken a step.
Mm-hmm.
Mitchell's taken a bit of a back step in terms of what he was last year, but because Mobley's so much better.
Exactly. And he's playing within the team.
And Garland looks like the player everyone thought he was.
Exactly right.
Like, at Mobley at this stage, he is my DPOI with Wemby out.
Okay.
He is
I like
my
that.
DPOI.
We might do a awards podcast next week, I think, as we get more and more towards the pointy side of the season. I've got Mobley's season stats here. 18 points a game, 9 rebounds a game, 3 assists, a steal, a block and a half. 36% from 3 is the big one for me. Yeah. He's just shooting league average, which is all they need him to. Just hit open shots.
Career average is 30, and he's 36%.
Exactly right. Like, it's pretty good from Big E-Mob. I don't know if there's a question. It's just that they haven't really been there. But Donovan Mitchell's been in big playoff games.
Well, the question is, can you hide Garland?
And
the answer is probably yes.
Yeah, because
Mobley and Allen are both
and
7
DeAndre Hunter and Max Strus and Okoro and all these guys. I think they're one of those teams who reminds me a lot of like Boston last year, where people are like, "What is the actual problem?" Like they're very similar to Oklahoma. Like, yeah, they've got problems, but they also don't. Like,
they just look clunky at times.
That's true. They can, but then
since they got Hunter, it's kind of
ridiculous.
Looked good.
14 game win streak, 10-0 in their last 10, 11-1 in their division, 29-4 at home, and 25-6 on the road.
Yep,
that's pretty biblical numbers. Moving on to who we thought should have been the first seed this year, the Boston Celtics, 47-18.
There's only one word you need, and that's age.
Yeah, it's the Kristaps Porzingis nagging injuries, the this, to that, the Drew Holiday hand injuries.
He doesn't look the same.
No, Drew does not. He's definitely not making. I actually saw in the Lakers game they were putting him in some actions. And if you told me 3 years ago that you were putting Drew Holiday
last year,
yeah, literally, if you told me you were putting Drew Holiday on Austin Reeves to get buckets and like you're happy with that, that's crazy. Yeah. Like, he just looks 10% less. And obviously the Al Horford problem, he's career low in minutes, that type of thing. Still production, but as Bill noted, end of that Lakers game, looked gassed.
Yeah.
He's 36. Like, you're just not going to... And 36 playing playoffs like every single year. Like, you're playing 100 games a season. Like, that's...
Yeah, that Lakers game where he looked elite, it was coming off 2 games of rest.
Yeah, exactly right.
Like, you can't trust that game to tell you how he's going to perform in the playoffs.
Yeah, so
it's not going to look like
And then
that.
I think the biggest thing to me is just the live and die by the 3. They're going to shoot 53s a game, whether they're hitting them or whether they're not.
Yeah, and in the playoffs, you can't say that's not how you win because they did it last year, but that's not how you really win.
Exactly. And just the lack of, like, if the 3s aren't hitting and you're playing a good defensive team like a Cleveland, who's getting the in-between offense? Like, is Jason Tatum going to wake up and go, oh, wait a minute, I'm 6'10", 240 pounds. I'm going to get the rim.
I'm going to go in, yep.
Like, can you remember that? Can Jaylen Brown continue to hit those tough little free throw fall away jumpers, stuff like that little in-between game?
But he doesn't look as good this year.
No, everyone's taken, which I guess championship hangover. Only Tatum played Olympics, but... Oh, no, Drew played Olympics, and Derek White played Olympics as well. So maybe there's just a bit less than they were last year.
Yeah.
And the numbers for their three-point shooting and all that have jumped up. There was a stretch where they were looking really, really ugly. But yeah, it's just the age and the live and die by the three.
Yeah.
And onto the third seed, the New York Knicks, 40-23 in the East on a 3-game losing streak and 5-5 in their last 10.
Brunson's out.
That's right, he got injured in the in the LA game.
Yep.
That bad ankle fall.
Yep, and since then it's been like, Cat go score 40 for us, and he can do it, but he just doesn't have the same ability that Brunson has.
Mm-hmm.
So, can you trust? When it comes to the playoff time, I probably trust them a bit more, but defensively they don't look good.
Which is crazy that a team with Mikhail, OG, Josh Hart can't be good defensively. Those are three.
It's just Towns.
Yeah, it's Towns. Well, what was that stat from earlier in the season? He's picked it up a little bit now, but it was like allowing 80% at the rim or something like that. So,
well, Mitch Robb will come back.
He's back.
He's back?
He's back.
Okay.
He's been playing recently.
They'll play him at the 5, see what Towns is like at the 4.
Yeah.
And defensively, that's probably as good as you're going to get.
Yeah.
But come playoff time, are they just going to hide Josh Hart in offense?
I guess.
Are other teams just going to dare him to shoot?
Well, he caught lightning in a bottle in the Philly series. I know.
It's Philly, no one cares.
Yeah, no one cares. No one likes them, so he's playing with a little bit more to him. I think the biggest thing to me is it's just the defense.
Yeah.
They just can't get stops. The offense is historic, but they just can't get stops. Yeah. I don't have problems with secondary creation or anything like that because Cat's great offensively. McHale can make off the dribble. All these little OG can even get himself a little bucket here and there. It's just the defense. Milwaukee Bucks, a similarly defensively challenged team, 7-3 in their last 10, 2-game losing streak, and are 36-27 at the 4 seed in the East. What are your thoughts on the Milwaukee Bucks come playoff time?
For me, it's just if you defend Giannis, you build the wall against Giannis, and you pretty much go, Dame, we're going to throw our best defender at you. What else do they have?
Yeah.
Because they don't have the same players they did last year. Brooks, not the same player he was last year. Bobby's looking for that contract, so he's shooting as much as he likes.
Well, it's also the fact that Bobby's been suspended until pretty much like the last 2 games of the season because this muck around with the drug thing the drug testing that he had.
Yeah.
I've just picked up the Milwaukee Bucks defensive rating. While they were very defensively challenged in the first majority of the season, they've actually got a defensive rating of 110 in their last 10 games. I think that's Kuzma's just been getting in that stance and playing some good quality team basketball. Love to see Kyle Kuzma back on a meaningful team, literally a winning team. I think the defense can be enough to get you through a playoff series because of you've got Giannis Antetokounmpo, but in the same hand, he's been injured the last 3 playoffs.
And you got Dame.
Can you hide Dame?
In the East, maybe maybe the answer is yes.
Exactly right. And Gary Trent Jr. hasn't been as much as advertised. DeLon Wright hasn't been as much as advertised.
No.
I don't know if Kevin Porter Jr. can pop off for a series. But yeah, so it's just, whether these guys can stay healthy, Giannis especially, whether Bobby can get back into basketball shape straight away.
Yeah.
Because just taking 25 games off in the middle of the season is terrible for your conditioning.
And then come back in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not going to be good.
Not going to be good. Biggest things we don't trust about them is the defense and just the health. Can you get them all on any given night? Are you going to get your all?
And are they going to be locked in for 4 series?
Moving on to the Pacers. To me, they're just 10% too short.
Yeah.
Siakam's not quite enough to get you over that hump. Hallie's not quite enough to get you there.
And he's not the player he was last year.
We were saying,
I don't know what happened.
It just seems... Did the league figure out that you just don't let them run 60 times a game? Like, what was the... Why suddenly the slowdown on this literally historic? It was like 127 points a game they were scoring. It's ridiculous.
And they're just bad at bad on the road.
Yeah, well, what's the stats there? They're
15 and 18.
15 and 18
They're
compared to
just bad on the road.
5 and 5 over their last 10 in a 3-game losing. It's crazy, just the stats difference between the West and the East. Yeah, they're just not there. Andrew Nemhard hasn't taken the step that he took in the playoffs. I think a lot of people were hoping he would continue that throughout this season. I don't think that's been there.
And then just, if Siakam is your best player,
Yeah,
how far are you going to go?
really. And don't get me wrong, he's been great this season, especially as more or less the number one option on offense, because of just how up and down. What's his name? Tyrese Halliburton. I completely forgot Tyrese Halliburton's name just then. But just how up and down he's been. Some games he'll give you a week of 25 points, 11 assists, 4 rebounds. Great, pretty good on defense. Great efficiency, all these numbers. And then he'll give you 6 turnovers, 4 assists, and 13 points for 6 games straight. And you're like, well, what happened? Why is this suddenly a problem?
No, it's not the defensive team against him. It's just one day he looks like he's got it, the other he doesn't.
Exactly right.
He dropped 30 on Boston and then dropped 10 on Charlotte.
Exactly right. And they've been marketably better on defense. Definitely, they seem to have melded a bit. It's also, like you said, how's Miles Turner going to hold up? Surely this is the year when he starts to regress, right? Because
surely he gets traded.
Surely, yeah, he's survived trade talks for 6 years or something like that. It's just how, can you just live with Siakam's your best player? You don't know what you're getting out of Tyrese. Aaron Naismith, Benedict Mathurin, these are all guys that you just don't know. It's 10% too little.
Yeah.
2 years? Who knows? Could be the number one seed in the East.
They just need to find someone.
Yeah. And I don't know who that someone is. Probably a wing.
Definitely
Kevin
a wing.
Durant sweepstakes, anyone? But I just don't know what their direction forward is. Because if this is the Hallie that you get for the next 3 years, well,
it's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money wrapped up in a guy who's really not that good. It's not a guy that you can hide, that you can play. As amazing as he is when he's on, that could be something that a team can really, really struggle with, is working with Tyrese Halliburton. And our last team, the Detroit Pistons. Love a bit of Pistons ball at the moment.
It's about time.
It's about damn time. In a rebuild for 10 years nearly, pretty much, since the Blake Griffin. Oh, that was 2018.
2018.
So yes.
7 years.
7 years worth of rebuilding. 36 and 29 on the season.
7 and 3 in the last 10.
7 and 3 in the last 10. Tobias Harris has been lighting it up.
And if you look at that, they have positive records at home and away.
Which is a big thing. And it's not, they're actually better on the road than they are
at home.
At home, which is very rare. You love to see that in a playoff series. I think the biggest thing with Detroit, they're just young.
Yeah.
They're great, and I love the steps that Duran and Isaiah Stewart and Asar's starting to catch up to Amen. As far as their player progression's going. Cade's amazing. They just don't have any playmaking, and they're young. I think that's just
the playmaking's the issue.
Mm-hmm.
If you take the ball out of Cade's hands, who's going to score it?
Exactly right.
At the moment, they're looking at Toby. Tobias Harris is like, I'm not the number 2 here.
Yeah, exactly.
This shouldn't be on me. I don't know what Jaden Ivey's been doing.
Well, Jaden Ivey's been injured. I don't think he's predicted to come back still for a little bit either. I'll look up what his injury report's looking like.
If Jaden Ivey comes back, that's a massive, massive key for him.
Well, broken fibula. There you go. So he's not coming out.
That's sad. Yeah.
And it's also, do you keep Jaden Ivey for the foreseeable future? I think he's great, but he might be a guy to me.
And his shooting's not as good as it should be.
No, I think Jaden Ivey to me is a guy that you're going to go trade and get yourself a good big to pair with Cade. I don't know who that big is. Don't get me. We can talk about trades next podcast or something. But
they need an elite 4.
Yeah, because
maybe that is
Tobias and Ron Holland. Well, maybe Ron Holland takes the leap and he's really good the next 2 years. Well, because I guess what you look at with this Detroit team, they've got time.
Yeah,
they've got time.
They got picks. They got time.
Exactly right.
Unless they want to do what the Spurs did and go and get someone big.
Well,
now.
if someone comes up on the radar suddenly, KD disgruntled star. Why wouldn't you go get Siakam? There's a bunch of forwards that they could really go get.
If Giannis
starts to get iffy, and
if he gets knocked out first round, like
there's a lot of
talk. Got to get Bam.
Got to get Bam. All these things that, and again, you can maximize someone for 2 years and just get them a couple of second round appearances, see how they feel, scope out what you have with Cade. But I think that the future is bright in Detroit for the first time in a long time.
Yeah,
very much so. And I think that pretty much brings us to the end of today's podcast. So thank you all for tuning in once again. Next week, we're probably going to do some player awards. So looking at some of our predictions for MVP, DPOY, most improved, all those numbers. We'll probably bring up some of the betting favourites as well, so what the league's kind of shaping up. Bill can rant for 45 minutes on why Nikola Jokic deserves the MVP.
I don't think I need 45 minutes.
You need an hour and 45 minutes.
I think I've got 3 words. Top 6 stats.
Yeah, literally top 6 stats and everything. But that does us for today. So thank you all for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.